Hey nerds, what's up? We are trying to do a vlog. We'll see how it goes. But I'm supposed to be buddy reading One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston with Becca from Becca and the Books this week. So then I thought, well, maybe I should try to do like a themed romance vlog. So that's what we're going to try to do. We'll see how it goes. It's Monday. I just got to work and I need to go in and clock in because we officially are going to work now 3 days a week. I am going to start reading Well Met by Jen DeLuca. This book is, I think, A Hate to Love, maybe? I don't honestly know. I did read the synopsis a few days ago and then I forgot about it. I forgot what it's about, but it's a romance. So I'm going to try to read that to start with and then we'll move into One Last Stop probably. I'm just waiting for Becca to let me know with her schedule what days work best for the buddy read. But yeah, before we really get started though, I wanted to do a quick thank you to everyone who commented and said congratulations and everything on my most recent video announcing that I'm pregnant and also showing you guys some of the stories. And if you're interested, I did like kind of plug in that video that there are other stories to tell. So if you go and watch my newest Girls Who Gab episode, which I'll have a link down below, it's my podcast with Bailey. In that most recent episode, I tell the story about how my dad found out I'm pregnant, which is not from me because Matt can't keep a secret. So that's the little, plug and little hint at what that story is if you want to go listen. It's a kind of long episode, but that story does get told in the beginning if you don't want to watch the whole thing. But we just basically catch up in that episode of everything that's gone on since Bailey gave birth to her son. And then, just some random things. I talk about like the housing situation that I'm in and all that good stuff. So there's a lot to see in that episode. And I do talk a little bit about how I haven't been reading and all of that, which is why I haven't been making videos either. So I've read one book in 3 months and it's Twilight. Great. But yeah, I'm hoping that this vlog and all that good stuff will kind of get me back into the flow of things. Happy Monday. It's July 26th today, so it's the end of July. Without further ado, I'm going to get off of here and go into work, and then I will update you when I have an update. Hello. You're sitting very precariously. I'm very worried, actually. So, started Well Met by Jen DeLuca. Fucking loving it. I'm only like 70, maybe 80 pages in. But like the fact that I've read that many pages in a day is we're going places, because that hasn't happened. And many a moon. So, with that said, yes, Well Met. So Well Met is a book about a main character named Emily. And Emily so her sister was in a car accident and she's a single mom, the sister, of a 14-year-old girl named Caitlin. And so Emily's, life has kind of fallen apart precariously at the same time as this terrible accident that her sister broke her leg. So it's not like she's on her deathbed, but still, very serious accident. She can't drive anywhere because she broke her right leg. So Emily decides to go live with her for the summer to, one, have a place to live because her life kind of fell apart right at the same time, like I said, and then also to help with, taking care of Caitlin while her sister is, recovering. So that's, the preface of the beginning of the story. There's clearly, not a love triangle, but there's two interests, and one is very much just the rugged, not rugged, but the hot, super built, clearly sexual attraction person. And then there's the one who is a hate to love, and it's gonna be a hate to love. And I am loving it from the very beginning. I think I turn right here. I always get confused. Yeah, I do turn right here. So yeah, I've been loving it from the beginning, basically. I was wrong. Did not turn right there. Still don't quite know how to go home from my work yet, so I should probably put my GPS on. I also just downloaded Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. It is this light. I love that I do. Nope, it's not this light. God damn it. Where am I going? I own it also, so I pulled it off of my shelves. That was one of the books I mentioned this morning that I couldn't remember. So I went and looked on Hoopla and saw the cover of that, and I was like, oh yeah. So I'm going to start that right now because I just finished my podcast episode of Wine and Crime, which is a great podcast for crime listeners. It's 3 friends who chug wine, chat true crime, and release their most Minnesotan accents, or worst Minnesotan accents. So now you're swerving, and now I'm going to hit start on that. So I'm going to get off of this because as I get onto the freeway, I have a feeling you're going to move more and more, you meaning the camera, and I don't want to break my very expensive camera for you. Sorry. So I'm gonna get off. It's probably safest that way anyways. What do you do when you have time on your hands? Instead of reading, you watch the latest episode of Bachelorette. Did that. All caught up for now. The next 2 episodes I'm very concerned about. I'm so sad. All of the boys this season are just really, really good guys. And so then it makes me sad that, like, all of them couldn't be picked. But I am reading Well Met. I'm on chapter 10, 126 pages in. Really liking it. It's like cute and low key. There is a storyline regarding grief and death of a sibling. And then I'm still listening to Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. There's a lot of cheating, even though I don't think it's going to be a cheating story between the love interests, but it's a lot of cheating. And then I'm going to start One Last Stop today. So me and Becca are buddy reading this, and I need to read until page 83 today. We're reading 4 chapters a day, and there's 17 chapters. So I need to read this, but what did I do during my downtime so far today? After watching The Bachelorette, which, like, I wanted to do, me and Bailey and Sierra were in our group chat. They were talking about Twilight, and I just finished rereading Twilight, and so then I turned on the movie. Why am I doing that to myself? I don't know, but I'm on my lunch break, so I think I might turn this on my TV instead of on my iPad because my iPad needs to charge. I might turn it on and still try to read because obviously I've seen Twilight 5 billion times. I do not need to pay attention to it. So maybe I'll do that. I got this for Becca for her birthday so that we could buddy read it. And I really, really loved Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. It was one of my favorite books of the year that I read it whenever it came out. 2018, I think. And then I actually just reread it earlier this year with Sage and really, loved it the second time around. So then Becca was talking about reading Red, White, and Royal Blue in a vlog a few months ago now. And she was worried she wasn't going to like it, but then she liked it. And I was like, I just feel like Casey McQuiston is a good romance author to shove down everyone's throats. So hopefully this one will be just as good. One Last Stop is a kind of a time travel book, but mostly a romance. So you have 23-year-old August. Things like magic and cinematic love stories don't exist, and the only smart way to go through life is alone. She can't imagine how waiting tables at 24-hour Pancake Diner and moving in with too many weird roommates could possibly change that. There's no chance of her subway commute being anything more than a daily trudge through boredom and electrical failures. But then there's a gorgeous girl on the train, Jane.
Dazzling, charming, mysterious, impossible Jane. Jane with her rough edges and swoopy hair and soft smile, showing up in a leather jacket to save August's morning when she needs it most. August's subway crush becomes the best part of her day, but pretty soon she discovers there's one big problem. Jane doesn't look like an old school punk rocker. She's literally displaced in time from the 1970s, and August is going to have to use everything she tried to leave in her own past to help Jane. Maybe it's time to start believing in some things after all. Is this book going to be sad? I don't know. I guess I'll have to find out. Yeah, so that's where I'm at with reading. We're 3 books in the middle of 3 books. What are you doing? Baffle. What are you doing? Alright, happy Wednesday. It is 7 in the morning. I need to leave for work in about 10 minutes. But I wanted to catch you up. I did read the section for One Last Stop, so I got to the end of chapter 4. And I do really like Casey McQuiston's writing style. I feel like it's easy to get into it. And I also always really love Casey's like all of the different like cast of characters is always really fun. That happened in Red, White, and Royal Blue too. I feel like Casey always makes a larger group of friends than a lot of other books do. So we have like 3 roommates plus our main character August. Of course, Jane is the girl that's on the train, time traveling. And then we also have like a neighbor. We have the set of coworkers at the diner that August works at. And yeah, so we just have this really pretty large cast of characters. I feel like all of the voices are unique enough to keep everyone at least relatively on track. So far it hasn't been like, oh shit, with such a large cast. And I feel like sometimes with contemporary novels that's harder to do than with fantasy, because you don't have like any like groups, I guess, the same way that a lot of times in fantasy you can make. So that part I'm loving. And I like the romance aspect between August and Jane. I feel like their chemistry is really good so far, and I'm excited to see, get some answers for what the hell is going on. This is basically a contemporary novel, but then it has this piece of magic in it where Jane is on a subway station and she's from the 70s, and, that's the piece of magic, and surrounding that, it's all just a contemporary novel. But with that said, I feel like there's a lot of talk of magic coincidentally in this non-magic world. What are the chances that you would guess that the diner is magic or things like that? So one example that happens, really early on, we're 12 or 13 pages. On page 14, it says, August gets the sense that this isn't exactly a normal diner. There's something shiny and bright about it that curls warm and inviting around the sagging booths and waiters spinning table to table. A busboy brushes past with a tub of dishes and a mug topples from the pile. Winfield reaches blindly behind himself and catches it mid-air. It's something adjacent to magic. August doesn't do magic. And it's just like, if you're living in a contemporary world with this one random piece of magic, why would that even be a consideration? Like, how would you even know to think about magic if the world that you know has no magic in it? I'm having a hard time suspending my disbelief for the fact that this is already coming up when we haven't even gotten to the point where Jane is introduced at this point, or like we don't know yet. So like obviously later more things happen and we get more information about the fact that there's a little bit of magic happening. These types of contemporaries with just a splash of magic can be really hit or miss for me. And so I knew going into it that this was potentially the issue I was going to have with it. And Casey McQuiston's previous novel, Red, White, and Royal Blue, obviously didn't have any magic in it. So I'm nervous to see if they can spin it where it's more, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain the way to go about this type of like magic in a contemporary setting, because it's really, in my opinion, it's the hardest to do. If you have a world where like there's a whole secret magic society, like, I mean, there's a bunch of those like urban fantasies, it's easier to explain away, obviously. And then obviously if you're in a full and complete fantasy novel, where everything is fantasy, then yeah, again, it's easier to explain. And I like contemporary and I like fantasy both pretty equally, but when you have this like almost fantasy in mostly contemporary, I think it's really hard to do, at least in my opinion. So I am really nervous about that part of this book, but then at the same time, I'm really loving Casey McQuiston's voice, and all the different characters are really fun. It's a very diverse cast. We have a drag queen, we have a trans character, we obviously have a female-female romance at the head of this, and that's all I know for sure right now. We have an Asian main character. Battery died, but basically what I'm getting at here is that there are very diverse characters in this story so far. Casey McQuiston is doing a phenomenal job so far as like everything else goes. I'm just nervous about the magic part. So yeah, I'm going to read up until the end of chapter 8 today, and I'll give you an update when I have it. I am also 28% in, almost 30% into Ugly Love. I'm loving it. We're just about to start heading into smut. I don't know if this book is like, full frontal smut or fade to dark smut. I don't know what we're gonna get. There's 2 points of view and they're at different time frames, and so you have present day with Tate, and then you have 6 years ago with Miles, and I'm not sure that I'm liking the 6 years ago story, but of course Colleen Hoover always has to give you like a little bit of heartbreak in her novels, and that's probably why I'm like, I don't want to read that because I don't like it. So yeah, I'm reading that, and then I did take a break from Well Met yesterday just because I was trying to get to the one last stop, and I was also watching Twilight. I watched Twilight, New Moon, and part of Eclipse before stopping, so haven't really read much of Well Met yet. I'm about to start chapter 10, 127 of that one, and liking that one too. That one feels a lot more lighthearted, a lot more like cute and fluffy so far, although that one is the one that has the story of a death of a sibling. So, like, it does have a heavy topic, you know, weaved in, but overall the ambiance is very light and fluffy, whereas Casey McQuiston's, it almost feels like a little bit of a mystery, but also light and fluffy. And then Ugly Love definitely has the most serious of tones out of the three of them, but I'm going to show you this even though it's a mess, so sorry. But, like, look at this cat. He destroys everything he sees. So this is like ThredUp packing paper from my ThredUp that I got. I got some shoes and a skirt. And this is what he does while we sleep. Just destroys everything. Huh. Aren't you the cutest? All you see is eyes. Perfect. Hi.
You're getting phone footage. I'm on my way to work. It's Friday. I didn't film anything yesterday, but I have gotten quite a few pages in to One Last Stop. I am almost caught up to where I need to be. Man, my acne is having a field day. Pregnancy is a trip, okay? Which I could talk about, and I might later, but One Last Stop. I'm on page 286, which I think I'm in chapter 11, and I was supposed to be at the end of chapter 12 today, which, you know, shit happens, life happens, whatever. But I should be able to catch up today. One Last Stop. I'm loving it. This last section that we did, we have been reading 4 chapters a day. So from chapter 9 to 12, which obviously I haven't finished yet. But chapter 9 through 12 is really good. I feel like we are finally getting some answers, and the mystery is kind of starting to form and come together with answers. And I just am really liking the mystery aspect of like why this girl Jane is stuck on a train since the 70s. Like, what's going on? I really like that aspect, and I was talking to Becca about it, I think yesterday. And we were just saying that like the mystery almost is more fun than the romance. However, so we talked about it before we had read chapters 9 through 12, and the steam has appeared, and I'm enjoying the steam. I am a person who likes my sex scenes to be a little bit less clear on what is physically going on. Like, I love the focus on more like the reactions to what's happening rather than the explanation of physically what's being touched or etc. So yeah, I am liking the way that Casey McQuiston, I feel like she did a similar way of writing sex scenes in Red, White, and Royal Blue. I'm loving it. And then I'm also listening to Ugly Love still, and I don't know how far into it. I didn't check before putting my camera on. I think I'm like 60%. I'm like right after the 50% mark, right around the 50% mark. And I do really like, the way that Colleen Hoover also writes sex scenes. I feel like for me, my favorite smut is not super explicit. It's a little bit in the dark, but also you like know what's happening. It's not like Fade to Black completely, but yeah, I don't know how to explain. There's like levels. And the level that I like is with information, but mostly again reactions to what's going on and like that stuff. Yeah, I'm a fan. So I'm listening to Ugly Love. I'm going to turn it on when I get off of you guys. And then I'm hoping to finish One Last Stop today because that's how we're supposed to go. So I'm kind of hoping that I can finish it by the end of the day, like work day. And then tonight, me and Matt are driving up north. So we have a 4-hour drive. And I really don't want to drive because I'm tired. I did not sleep well last night. I also didn't sleep
enough because I decided it was more important to finish Breaking Dawn Part 1 than to go to bed. So, I mean, I still went to bed, like, at a decent hour. I went to bed at, like, 10:30, but normally when I have to go into work, I go to bed at, like, 9:30. So, yeah, I'm tired. Plus, yeah, I didn't sleep well. And then, okay, so pregnancy is a trip. So, I do want to talk about this. And you're going to have to get used to the fact that I'm going to be talking about all of this in all my vlogs because this is what's going on in my life. So, I'm 13 weeks now. 13 weeks is either the week where you turn into the second trimester or it's the last week of your first. And it's like, it's just kind of loosely that line. I don't know. So second trimester is traditionally where you start to feel better if you felt, morning sickness and all those types of things. A lot of those symptoms tend to go away when you hit the second trimester. So obviously I'm at the very, very cusp. So it could still happen, but overall I felt pretty good in my pregnancy. I haven't been super sick. I haven't, all those like terrible symptoms that people talk about. Other than being really, 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 really tired, I have not really had like a bunch of morning sickness or anything like that. And that being said, lately, so for the last few weeks, I have been getting nauseous and like gagging when I brush my teeth, which like whatever. Sometimes that happens before, but it's just a lot more frequently now with, like I said, with pregnancy. So yesterday, this is a lot of TMI, so if you don't like talking about like gagging and throwing up and stuff, it's totally okay to skip. I'll leave a timestamp so that you can watch the rest of the video without this part. But if you're interested, yesterday, completely gagged on my toothbrush and like threw up a little bit in my mouth. Not like a complete, not full throttle, but just a little bit. And then, so then I had to brush my teeth again, which just like made me gag more. It was terrible. So then today I was brushing my teeth and like I knew that that would happen again. And so I was like trying to be cautious and not deep throat my fucking toothbrush. Gross. And yet still pretty much gagged on my toothbrush, where this time I didn't throw up or anything, like nothing, but I felt super nauseous and like, oh, it's disgusting and I hate it. And so I'm just like, when will this go away? Like, is this gonna go away or is this gonna happen for the next like 6 months? Because I don't like it. And I am a person who like loves to have my teeth brushed. Like, the feeling of fresh, clean teeth is very nice to me. And so I like don't feel like I'm able to get the good enough brushing done because I'm having to be more careful and like I don't want to brush for very long and like all this stuff. So, ew. So that's going on, and then I'm starting to have like to everybody else it doesn't look like a bump, but I am starting to have a little bump that I can tell because like I know my body best, and I can also like feel it, and it's pretty wild. Like, I don't know, it's pretty fucking crazy. It's pretty crazy that I'm already hitting my second trimester too. Like, what the fuck? How is that already where I'm at? I don't know. That's wild to me. As far as well met goes, I haven't talked about that in this vlog clip. I haven't really read much of it yet. So I was talking 1,000,001 years ago about how we're going up north and we have a 4-hour drive and I don't want to drive because I'm tired. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we are driving up north 4 hours. We are going to be at night, so I do have a reading light. I'm hoping Matt will drive because I don't want to, like I was saying. And so I'm hoping to get one last stop done before that so that I can focus on well met, or I could listen to Colleen Hoover too. I don't know. I'm gonna get off of here and listen to some more Colleen Hoover. Hello, back already. Just got to work. Okay, so I'm 75% into Ugly Love, and I have opinions. I am liking it. I am. And I feel like overall we're gonna get a good ending. Like, I do have hope. But right now, my issue is that, like, we have our main characters, Tate and Miles. Miles doesn't want a relationship. He wants sex only, and Tate agrees. But, of course, Tate is, like, falling in love with him. He's, like, a good guy. But something has happened in his past to make him not want any sort of love, relationship, etc. And so we are getting that information, like, slowly throughout the book. But Tate isn't getting any of it. And his 2 rules in the beginning are, don't ask me about my past and don't expect a future from me. And, like, you should go to therapy. Like, are you gonna go to therapy? Is that gonna happen at some point? Are we gonna go to therapy to go over and seek support and help from whatever happened that I do know more of now, but I'm not gonna say because obviously spoilers, but, like, please go to therapy. Even if it ends with, like, I've decided I want to be in a relationship with you, I love you, you should still go to therapy. Because anyways, those are my feelings. I need to go into work. It's like 6:30 and I'm almost home from work, and I just finished Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. Oh my god. This book really fucked with me. Like, I didn't know what the sad thing was going to be. Like, we can tell that we're leading towards some sort of, tragic event or just depressing ass shit. Colleen Hoover loves to do that to you. And I did not expect it to hit me the way that it hit me. And if you've read Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover, you might be able to guess why that would hit me the way it hits me. But God. So I'll put some trigger warnings and content warnings, whatever, down in the description box, but I don't want to just say them because in this case it really is, like, it's a very important plot point to just feel with the book if you're comfortable with it. But yeah, so I'll put content warnings in the description box. But holy shit, it was so good. I gave this book, I don't know, I don't think it's a full 5 stars, but I mean a solid 4 for sure. It's just, I do feel like the reason I think that it's not a 5 stars is because what I was saying in the previous clip about therapy. Like, how come we never talk about getting and seeking professional support and help in terrible times? How come that never happens? Especially in romance, I feel like there's a lot of, like, oh, you healed me because I met you, I'm better. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen. I do think that, falling in love and other things in life can be really impactful, and change you in both really positive and really negative ways. But yeah, I wish, especially in what happened to these poor people, it's just, yeah, such an intense thing to have to go through, an emotional thing to have to go through, and then to not even ever bring up therapy. Like, did you have any in the past? Like, shortly after the event? I don't know. It bugs me when things like that aren't talked about in fiction, in realistic fiction, like contemporary fiction, because I feel like there's still a very large stigma against it, and so then it's infuriating that it doesn't get talked about, and, like, I don't know. So that's my one complaint about the book, but overall I really did like it. I liked the sexy stuff. I liked the plot of what happens and finding out, and the way that it's told. I felt like
I feel like Colleen Hoover does such a really, really good job of discussing what grief feels like in all of these different forms and how those show up for people. Like, I do feel the more I read her, the more I really do, believe that. Like, I believe that Colleen does show that stuff. I just wish that she also included stuff like professional help. So that's like my one complaint about Colleen Hoover in general. I mean, she never really includes stuff like that, but yeah, I'm really glad that I did read it. I was very surprised by how not close to home. It wasn't close, but just it's a very significant fear, I guess, for me. And yeah, it was a lot to handle.
Boom. It's Monday. We have much to talk about. Should we do the books first or the non-book things first? What I want to talk about first is that I just watched the most recent Bachelorette episode, which is the Hometowns episode. What the fuck was that? Honestly, I feel like Greg was in the right. I think Katie messed up in the way she reacted to the hometown date. But anyways, talk about romance. I also have baby pictures to show you, but I'm going to do that in a second. But let's talk about some books. So I finished 3 books. I haven't caught you up yet. So I did finish Ugly Love on audiobook by Colleen Hoover. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. This book, maybe I did talk about this. This book, basically, I did really, really like. However, I feel like the very important, overarching thing that one of our main characters is dealing with is just so important to have professional support with, and they never once mentioned therapy or anything. Then I also finished One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. This was the book I was reading with Becca from Becca and the Books. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars as well. I did really enjoy this one. I honestly think I would have liked, I don't want to give it away, but I would have liked the other way this could have ended better than the way that it did end. And me and Becca were talking about it, and I feel like I can't even say what she pointed out because of spoilers. But I like the idea of a more bittersweet ending than just a happy ending. I feel like I like that better, and so there were things that I wish would have happened. I think would have made it an even better book. I also thought that the beginning was kind of boring. So yeah, that's the thing. The first third to half was just okay, and then finally we got running with it, and I really liked the rest of it. So definitely love Casey McQuiston's writing, and I feel like I will always pick up her books in the future. And lastly, last night I finished Well Met by Jen DeLuca. I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars. This book is the Renaissance Fair book, and it's a hate to love, which I really, really loved the hate to love. I feel like the problem that arises at the end, at the climax of the book, was stupid. I feel like this is definitely one of those books that the issues arise from just a lack of communication, and if everybody would actually say what they're thinking, there wouldn't have been an issue to begin with, which happens a lot in romance. It drives me insane. Just say what the heck you're thinking. If you had said it out loud, we would have gotten somewhere a lot faster than what we needed to do in this book. But other than that, I did really like it. I loved the Renaissance Fair part. I felt really, it was just so fun. I liked the acting, the discussion on, they're 2 halves of a whole, even though they play this role throughout the fair. And yeah, I really liked that. I felt like the grief representation was well done, and yeah, I liked a lot of it. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars, mostly because it makes me roll my eyes when the issues are arising from just you not saying words. It just drives me insane. So those are the books that I read this week. 2 4 stars and 1 3. Maybe even a 3.5. I don't know. I mean, it was a good book. I definitely liked it. It was fun. But yeah, I think it could have been better is basically what I'm saying. Before I go though, I have baby pictures of me and Matt to show you because I've been posting them on Instagram and I just think it's cute and like I just want to know what my baby is gonna look like. Matt was blonde-haired, blue-eyed when he was a baby, and I was a brunette and brown-eyed as a baby. And my eyes are now more hazel, but I still am a dark-haired natural. Like, this is my natural hair color at the root. And Matt has, I mean, he's bald, but his beard is dark, and he's been dark-haired since he was younger, but like post-toddler. So our questions have been like, are we going to get a blonde-haired, blue-eyed baby? Because the thing is, even though I have dark hair and dark eyes, all of my siblings have blue eyes and were blonde as a baby, with the exception of one of my brothers. He had brunette hair from the beginning, but all of them are blue-eyed. Now keep in mind, all of my siblings are half-siblings. I'm the only one that's both my dad and my mom. And then Matt, all of his siblings are the same, you know, they're all full siblings. And it's like split. Rachel, Michelle, Mark were all blonde. David has dark hair, and so does Matt. There's a few that are blue-eyed and some that are not. And like Matt's eyes are more blue-green hazel and mine are more brown-green hazel. So like it's a whole mix. So anyways, this is Matt as a baby. And this is me as a baby. I think our kids are going to be cute. And this is Matt as a 2-year-old. Oh my god, he's so cute. And then this is me as a 2-year-old. So what is our kid going to look like? Are they going to be blonde, brunette, blue-eyed, brown-eyed? What the hell's going to happen? I don't know. I'm 14 weeks tomorrow. I just wanted to show you those. It's really interesting too because my bump, I mean, it's not baby yet, but it's still, it comes and goes. Like last weekend, I felt like it had really popped and I was like having a hard time with clothes. But then today, I feel like my stomach is super flat. The baby's still there. Baby's still kicking. I mean, I can't feel it kicking, but I did hear its heartbeat just last night. So like, it's clearly still alive. Where does it go? I mean, I'm sure it's all mostly bloat at this point anyways, because like the fetus is like super low. Anyways, it doesn't matter, but yeah, blue-eyed, brown-eyed. I only have pictures of me right here. Here's a picture of me and one of my brothers. That's gonna be the end of this vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed and subscribe if you haven't already. I don't know what my schedule is for uploading. I was thinking about attempting to do 2 days a week again, but I just haven't really had the motivation to film like sit down videos, so I don't know what I'm really doing right now. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I feel like filming at all. I wanted to make this video, so I'm making it. But as far as like what other content you'll see from me, I have no idea. So hopefully you guys will like what I put out when I put it out. Let me know in the comments if you think the baby will be blue-eyed, brown-eyed, blonde, or brunette, or some other mix. I don't know. Maybe it'll be something else. I have no idea. And yeah, that's it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys soon with another one. Bye!